Number 10. Awake. Starring Jason Isaacs as Michael Britton, Awake is about a detective who, after a tragic car accident, finds himself switching between two realities whenever he goes to bed, one where his wife is dead but his son is alive, and another, where his son has perished but his wife has survived. Unable to determine which reality is true, he starts going to therapy. The doctors from both realities attempt to diagnose what is happening to Michael. Each therapist sees it as a coping mechanism, insisting that the other reality is a dream. While working on a case in both realities, Michael begins to realize that the details of one case can help him with another case in the other reality. Number 9. Fringe. Described as a hybrid of fantasy, procedural dramas, and serials, influenced by television shows such as Lost and The X-Files, Fringe follows FBI Special Agent Olivia Dunham when she joins the Fringe Division, a joint federal task force supported primarily by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The Fringe Division investigates cases relating to fringe science, ranging from transhumanist experiments gone wrong to the prospect of a destructive technological singularity, and more importantly, the possible collision of two parallel universes. With only one world theorized to be able to survive the inevitable collision, characters from both worlds are determined to have theirs be the last world left standing. Number 8. Train. This 12-episode Korean series is about a detective who fearlessly dives into his work. Seo Do-won is relentless when it comes to bringing criminals to justice. Willing to take on any case, no matter how hard, Do-won has made a name for himself as a man who gets the job done. But when the woman he loves becomes the latest victim of a serial killer, his world completely changes. After mysteriously gaining the ability to move between parallel universes, Do-won soon learns that his deceased love may be gone in one world, but she's very much alive in the other. Vowing to track down her killer in one universe, while simultaneously trying to protect her in the other, Do-won is quick to realize that this is not something he can do alone. Seeking the help of his colleagues in both universes, Do-won asks Han Seo-kyung, an honest, yet reserved prosecutor with a big heart in one world, and a cold and emotionless detective in the other, to help him out. Together with Lee Young-min, a tenacious member of the Scientific Investigation Unit, they'll do whatever it takes to track down the killer in one world and protect his love in the other. Number 7. King, Eternal Monarch. The series follows Emperor Lee Gon of the modern-day Kingdom of Korea, who discovers access to an alternate reality after crossing a mythical door opened by his half-uncle, Lee Lim. In the alternate reality, the Republic of Korea exists in the kingdom's stead. He comes across Detective Jong Tae-yul, whom he recognizes from an identity card he obtained during the turning point of his childhood, his father's assassination. Lee Gon's half-uncle, Lee Lim, who assassinated the previous king, Lee Ho, is in hiding and assembling armies whilst traversing back and forth between the two parallel worlds. Lee Gon sets out to put an end to Lee Lim's atrocities and retrieve the other half of a large bamboo flute used as a portal between the two worlds. Number 6. Loki. If you are unfamiliar with the character of Loki outside of classic Norse mythology, you might want to catch up on the MCU movies he appears in up to Avengers: Endgame for some essential background information. After stealing the Tesseract during the events of Avengers: Endgame, an alternate version of Loki is brought to the Mysterious Time Variance Authority, or TVA, a bureaucratic organization that exists outside of time and space and monitors the timeline. They give Loki a choice: face being erased from existence due to being a time variant, or help fix the timeline and stop a greater threat. Loki ends up in his own crime thriller, traveling through time, hunting a female version of himself named Sylvie. With the first season ending with the timeline breaking and the creation of a multiverse, the story is set to become even better and better. Number 5. His Dark Materials. His Dark Materials is set in a multi-world reality, with the action moving from one world to another. The series begins in an alternative world where all human souls manifest as animal companions, called demons. It follows the life of a young girl named Lyra, an orphan living with the scholars at Oxford's Jordan College, in a world governed by a religious and political body known as the Magisterium. Lyra discovers a dangerous secret that involves Lord Asriel and Marissa Coulter, and is the subject of a witch's prophecy. In her search for a missing friend, Lyra also uncovers a series of kidnappings and a link to a mysterious substance called dust, which leads her on a journey of epic proportions and ultimately to other worlds. The witch's prophecy also links Lyra's destiny to Will Perry, a teenager from the conventional world, who is himself being pursued by figures connected to his long-lost father. Number 4. Counterpart. This show is about Howard Silk, a gentle, quiet office worker, who has been working a boring monotonous job of exchanging apparently nonsensical messages for the Office of Interchange, or OI, for 30 years. When he meets a man who looks just like him, he is made aware of a parallel world. As it turns out, the OI oversees a checkpoint below its headquarters between parallel Earths known as the Alpha and Prime worlds. The parallel Earths were created in 1987 during an experiment by East Germany when only a scientist named Yannick was on site. The initially identical worlds diverged dramatically after 1996, when a flu pandemic killed hundreds of millions in the Prime world, setting back the world technologically but advancing it in life sciences. The virus was suspected of being purposely released by the Alpha world into the Prime world, which resulted in a tense Cold War between the two worlds, with counterparts used as spies and sleeper agents. Howard Silk's Alpha world personification is a boring office worker, but the Prime world Howard Silk is a ruthless intelligence operative. Matters escalate during the series when a powerful rogue faction on Prime executes long-simmering plans to get revenge on Alpha. Number 3. Stranger Things. This series takes place in the fictional rural town of Hawkins, Indiana. In the nearby Hawkins National Laboratory, secret experiments with the paranormal and supernatural inadvertently leads to the creation of a portal to a hostile alternate dimension they refer to as the Upside Down, whose presence begins to affect the residents of Hawkins in disastrous and frightening ways. The people of Hawkins first make contact with the Upside Down when young Will Byers is abducted by a creature that comes from there. His mother, Joyce, the town's police chief, Jim Hopper, and a group of volunteers search for him, completely unaware that he is lost in a different dimension. As Will disappears, a mysterious young girl with psychokinetic powers named 11 escapes from the laboratory and is found by friends of Will. Aware of the Upside Down, 11 befriends them and assists them in their efforts to find Will. As the story continues to unfold, the show characters learn about the Upside Down and start to discover that other than the creatures that abducted Will, there is a larger, more sinister entity that threatens the very existence of their world. Number 2. The Man in the High Castle. Loosely based on Philip K. Dick's novel of the same name, The Man in the High Castle takes place in a parallel universe where Germany and Japan rule the world after winning World War II. The United States is divided into 3 parts, an area controlled by the Japanese, a Nazi-controlled section, and a buffer zone between the two. The Nazis continue to hunt minorities and euthanize the physically and mentally sick. The series starts in 1962 and follows characters whose destinies intertwine when they come into contact with newsreels and home movies that show Germany and Japan losing the war. The films, which are believed to be collected by the eponymous Man in the High Castle, show views of numerous other Earths, including some where the Allies were victorious. Expertly hitting all the sci-fi and dramatic notes, this show delivers a superb, frightening experience filled with unexpected twists and turns. Number 1. Dark. The series takes place in the fictional German town of Winden and follows several characters as they pursue the truth in the aftermath of a child's disappearance. They follow connections between 4 estranged families to unravel a sinister conspiracy that spans several generations. At first glance, the story's major bombshell is seemingly about a mind-bending time travel conspiracy, but another twist is that there exists another alternative universe, And both worlds are in danger of getting destroyed due to so many characters interfering with the natural flow of space and time. Expertly written and directed, Dark is a series that is confusing with all of its timelines and alternate worlds, but it is one that is thoroughly enjoyable and rewatchable. Dark even suggests that déjà vu may actually happen when a person experiences memories of an alternate universe. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to support the channel by subscribing and hitting the notification bell.